What if I told you that you could obtain immortality and be completely immune to disease by only consuming coconut? Welcome to the basic facts of the coconut cult. Let's start with August Engelhardt worked as a pharmacist. August Engelhardt, who would later become the founder and leader of the coconut cult, was born in Nuremberg, Germany on November 27, 1875. It's stated that he was born with what they called a weak constitution, which meant he constantly had low energy and would easily come down with illnesses. Because of this, it's believed it caused Engelhardt to pursue studies in medicine as well as exploring different diets. Engelhardt would drop out of school after being offered an apprenticeship by a local pharmacist. It would be while working here that Engelhardt would write and publish a book titled A Carefree Future, where he describes life of a colony of vegetarians who eventually become specifically coconut consumers. Engelhardt joined the Fountain of Youth. In the fall of 1899, Engelhardt left his apprenticeship to join a group of like-minded people called the Fountain of Youth, who believed in vegetarianism and nudism. This group was founded by brothers Adolf and Rudolf Just in 1897, with the Christianized ideology that salvation can be regained by understanding how primordial man used to live, which was the belief that all animals lived in harmony with God. Therefore, to obtain salvation, humans need to stop consuming the flesh of animals. But soon after Engelhardt had joined, the Just brothers were arrested. Although nudism wasn't banned in Germany until Hitler's reign, the German government was still cracking down on nudist groups. The brothers were also arrested for pretending to be naturopath doctors. Both would eventually be sent to prison. Engelhardt buys an island. Engelhardt wanted to continue his way of life after the Just brothers' arrest, but not wanting the German government to interfere, he began looking for an island to buy in 1901. By the end of 1902, Engelhardt would find an island owned by the German government, which is known today as Papua New Guinea. Before leaving for the island, Engelhardt gave public lectures on his belief that fruitarianism could make everyone immune to disease. He used these lectures to recruit followers that would join him on his island. Among these beliefs that Engelhardt preached, he also stated that humans were a tropical animal that was not intended to live in houses, but rather to wander nude under the sun, and that the most important organ is the brain, which Engelhardt believed received energy from the hair roots, which were powered by the sun. The group was called the Order of the Sun. When Engelhardt started to live on the island, he continued a vegetarian diet because the island also contained a large plantation that was growing not only tropical fruits, but also sweet potatoes and sugarcane. Other than a handful of natives, Engelhardt was the only one on the island, so he began to write promotional material, including postcards and pamphlets, which he would usually send to Europe, describing his way of life on the island and inviting others to join him. But not everyone would be accepted for membership. Engelhardt had a few conditions in place, including a recommendation from respectable and credible people, at least to Engelhardt, a $250 payment, and he must have been either a practicing vegetarian or fruitarian for quite some time. People began to arrive, and among them was Max Lechrow, a well-known music director for an orchestra in Berlin. Heinrich Eukens, a student, and August Bethmann, an old friend of Engelhardt's. Together, they would begin to call themselves the Order of the Sun, clarifying that they didn't worship the sun as a god, but rather the giver of all life and the healer of the sick. Members either died or left. Soon after members began to arrive, Engelhardt changed their diets to strictly coconuts, allegedly because Engelhardt had an ulcer on his leg, and after eating coconuts, it went away. The group began to believe in the movement known as cocoa-ivorism, which had gained traction in the late 1800s. The movement stated that the coconut was representative of the sun and that it was the philosopher's stone among food, granting its consumer immortality. A little less than 2 months later, things took a turn for the worse when Eukins developed a cold and fever, then died from it. Engelhardt would not allow members to consume anything, including medicine, other than coconuts. Allegedly, Eukins was buried on the island. Luttrow would die after getting caught in a storm that would cause a small boat to sweep him out to sea, where he had no food and water for 2 days. When he was able to get back to the island, he was extremely ill and would not recover from it. Allegedly, he too is buried on the island. By 1906, Engelhardt had fallen ill to the point that he couldn't walk. Bethman would convince him to go to a hospital in Germany, where it was found that the 5'4" Engelhardt only weighed 85 pounds. His body was entirely covered in ulcers, and the doctor believed he was suffering from paranoia. After a full recovery, Engelhardt returned not only to his island, but back to his diet of coconuts. Shortly after, Bethman would fall ill and return to Germany, promising his old friend he would return to the island, but Bethman would end up dying from his illness before fulfilling that promise. It's believed he had malaria. Engelhardt became a prisoner of war. By 1909, Engelhardt was practically the last member of the Order of the Sun living on the island. Every now and then someone would show up and either die or leave. On September 11, 1914, the island was captured and occupied by Australian military forces during World War I. Eventually, Engelhardt was caught and imprisoned in 1915 for a short amount of time. After Engelhardt was released, he continued to live his cocoa-ivorism beliefs until 1919, when natives of the island observed him not acting normally, specifically seeing him talk to trees. The natives contacted Germany and asked them to come get Engelhardt because they believed he was possessed by demons. On May 6, 1919, a German ship showed up and forced Engelhardt on board, but Engelhardt refused all foods and medicines. As they headed out to sea, Engelhardt threw himself overboard and swam back to his island. Not even before sundown that same day, Engelhardt was found dead on the island. It's believed that his strict diet of nothing but coconuts is what killed him. He too is allegedly buried on the island, but no marker of any graves belonging to Engelhardt or any other member of the Order of the Sun have been found. Whether or not you believe a specific food could hold the key to immortality, you now know the basic facts about the coconut cult. Thanks for watching.